Okay, chapter 13 and 14. Vocabulary study first. We're back to matching the words with their definitions. So, the words that we have for this section are sinister, fixedly, prowling, quill, shifty, and stifling. And then the definitions are a large feather used to write, firmly attached and unmoving, appearing sneaky and untrustworthy, suffocating, airless, threatening evil or harm, and lurking or walking slyly. So our first word is sinister. Well, we know that sinister means that they are usually not a good person or that they are evil. So sinister means threatening evil or harm. Okay? Threatening evil or harm for sinister. Number 2 is fixedly. Fixedly means that it's firmly attached and unmoving. So that's just going to go straight across to that definition. So it's going to look like that. Okay. Our next word is prowling. So when something is prowling, like if you have a cat or if you've seen like a cat, and it is prowling, that means that it is appearing no, wrong one. That means that it's lurking or walking slyly. So lurking or walking slyly. That is prowling. I almost said the appearing untrustworthy and sneaky, but that's wrong. Okay, quill is our next word. So if you guys remember from social studies, when we talked about how they had to sign the Declaration of Independence, they didn't have pens back then. They had quills. Quills were what were used to write with, and they were large feathers, and at the ends of the feathers that the tips were sharpened so you could dip them in ink and then write that way. So a quill is a large feather that is used to write. Okay, so there's that one. Our next word is shifty. Shifty. Now this one does mean appearing untrustworthy and sneaky. So that's what matches there. And then stifling means suffocating or airless. Usually when we're talking about stifling, that means it's really hot and it's hard to breathe, or if like the room is shut up and it's really hard to breathe because you can't get any fresh air, that's where that stifling can come from. Okay. And then the next part, you have just fill in the blank with our vocabulary words that we just used. So number 1, the seller at the flea market seemed blank, so I decided not to buy anything from her. Number 1 for fill in the blank would be shifty. Shifty. Just like that. Okay. Number 2, the cat stared blank at the bird as it hopped across the yard. Number 2 is fixedly. Fixedly. Okay. Number 3, the park ranger watched for dangerous animals that might be blank around the campground. Number 3 is prowling. Prowling. Okay. Okay, number 4, we watched a woman at the museum use a blank to write a letter. So number 4 is quill. Quill. Okay. Number 5, inside the sauna, it was hot and blank. Nadia was happy to get out into the fresh air. Number 5 is stifling. stifling. Okay. And then our last word, the haunted house ride at the amusement park looked dark and sinister. Number 6 is sinister. Okay, a little extra. In chapter 13, Harry, Ron, and Hermione learn that the Sorcerer's Stone can produce the elixir of life, which will make the drinker immortal. What does it mean to be immortal? So, when a person is immortal, that means that that person can live forever. They will never die, which goes back to Nicholas Flamel. Nicholas Flamel is like 665 years old. So, and he has lived that long and he has not died yet. So there's that. Okay, understanding the story. Multiple choice. Number 1. In chapter 13, where does Harry finally discover the name Nicholas Flamel? A, in a restricted library book. B, in an encyclopedia. C, on a chocolate frog card. Or D, on the internet. Well, I can tell you that the Muggle or the Wizarding world does not have internet, but it was actually on a chocolate frog card. More specifically, it was on the card that had Albus Dumbledore on it. Okay. Number 2, after the Quidditch match in chapter 13, whom does Harry observe arguing in the forest? A, Ron and Malfoy. B, Neville and Malfoy. C, Snape and Dumbledore. Or D, Snape and Quirrell. That answer is actually Snape and Quirrell. Okay, so C for number 1 and D for number 2. All right, number 3. In chapter 14, Hagrid hatches a dragon in his hut, or dragon egg in his hut. Why is it a problem that Hagrid has a dragon? What do Harry, Ron, and Hermione do to help the dragon find a new home? First part, dragons are illegal in Britain. They are outlawed, so Hagrid shouldn't even have one. And he's not even supposed to breed them. So, and it's also very dangerous to own one because they are difficult to tame. As Hermione says, Hagrid lives in a wood hut. He lives in a wooden house. So that makes it hard when you have to, when you have to raise a dragon and you're living in a wood house. So what do Harry, Ron, and Hermione do to help the dragon find a new home? They actually get in contact with Ron's brother Charlie, who works on a dragon reserve in Romania, and they are able to send the dragon with Charlie's friends with him. Okay? Number 4, this is the long answer. What is significant about the argument that Harry overhears in the forest in chapter 13? So you know that Harry overhears the argument with Snape and Quirrell. What is significant about it is that Harry finds out that there are other things besides Fluffy guarding the stone. Like Snape probably did a potion. Quirrell has an anti-dark art spell on it. So Snape is trying to figure out how to get past Fluffy, and he's demanding Quirrell for the information. And Harry knows for sure that these two know about the stone, and he feels more strongly that Snape is actually the one that's trying to steal it versus anybody else in the building. And then lastly, a little extra, who is your favorite character in the novel so far and why? Provide at least 2 reasons. That is your opinion, whoever you think is your favorite character. I can't tell you who your favorite character is. If I had to pick mine would be Hermione, because she is smart and she is very helpful when it comes to learning a bunch of information, and I just like her. So, all right, so that is the novel study for chapters 1 through 14, and I did it in sections. So this is what I'm going to do next. I am going to go ahead and stop, take a little break, and then I'm going to read the last 2 chapters of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I will also start book 2, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. What I will do for the remainder of the novel study is I will post videos about the last videos of the novel study and the time for a test part tomorrow. But today, for the rest of the day, I'm going to focus on reading. So I'm going to take a little break and then I will be right back to read.